Welcome back to Undefendable. We are going to be doing Play Like a Pro guide on the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger is the ultimate gambler hero. Imagine Joey from Yu-Gi-Oh! If your dice are hot, you're going to be crushing people. If they're not hot, you are going to get absolutely trampled. She's balanced across the board, but her power really swings wildly based on the luck of the roll. When she's really hot, she feels unstoppable. When she runs cold, she feels miserable. So you don't outplay opponents with Gunslinger. You just manage your variance as best as you can. And if you can do it better than them, you typically end up winning. Let's go over to the Gunslinger's Leaflet. Evasive, really strong ability. If you have it on the board, you can have up to 3. If you roll a 1 or a 2 during your opponent's attack, you avoid all damage. Reload is kind of her unique mechanic. I believe it's in her passive quick draw. During your upkeep, gain a reload, and then you use it as an attack modifier where you would spend it and roll a die and deal half the damage of the die. So if you get 4 of these a game and every one of them is a 5 or a 6, you just added 16 damage to all of your total damage, which is really good. Knockdown is a negative status effect where your opponent has to spend 2 CP or skip their offensive roll phase. And then Bounty is another one that's unique to her. It adds 1 damage, and then when you also attack the person, you gain a CP, which is really, really cool. She has the stereotypical AAA, dice, or 3 bullets, 2 dashes, and 1 bullseye. Let's hop back over to here, and we'll go over the Gunslinger's abilities really quickly. Revolver is going to be your basic. Bounty Hunter is you inflict that bounty and then deal undefendable damage. Quick Draw is her passive, which gains you the reload during your upkeep. Take Cover gets you an evasive and deals damage. Showdown is her small straight. Fan the Hammer, large straight. Deadeye is the mini ult with knockdown and 6 undefendable. Duel is you basically roll the dice against your opponent. If your roll is greater, you may deal 3 back or prevent half. If your roll is not greater, including equal to, so if you both roll 3s, you just deal 1 damage back to your opponent. And then lastly, her ult, which is fantastic, right? Evasive, bounty, knockdown, 10, and if you spent reload, you may reroll that die 1 time. So a lot of fun. Let's hop into her cards. All right, her unique cards, you're going to see Wanted right here. This is definitely something, if you get it early, it's really strong. It's a great early bounty if bounty isn't already up. It is 2 CP, so you want to make sure you use it properly. But again, if you think about it, if you spend this immediately in attack, you're getting 1 CP back because your opponent is bountied. Spin the Chamber and Wild West, they basically turn CP into damage. So, 1 CP, 1 CP, and you're going to be turning those reloads into damage and dealing additional damage. You're always going to want to play these. Eat Lead is a standard attack mod, always usable. And then Roulette is just flexibility between direct damage or pressure tool with knockdown. Most of the time you're going to be dealing 2 damage or inflicting knockdown, which can be really, really strong. And then Quick Draw is not a unique card. It is an upgrade. And I always recommend Quick Draw. If you get it early, it's really, really strong, really, really fun, and really, really good. Late game, you can probably sell it because it does cost 2 CP. That said, let's hop over to her actual upgraded cards. Upgrade Duel. This is a massive improvement. It goes from a 41% chance to a 59% chance because it changes from being greater than to being equal or greater than. So this is definitely a worthwhile upgrade, even though it is 3 CP. If you get the bounty on early, this is something you're going to want to upgrade. I would also say Fan the Hammer. Because honestly, if you can get Fan the Hammer turn 1, it gives you access to one of her best abilities, which is Pistol Whip. Fan the Hammer, you just continually spam Pistol Whip. Like, this is like Sleight of Hand for Gambit or Foul Friend for Raveness. If you find Pistol Whip, you just spam this the entire game. Because you're going to be doing undefendable damage, roughly, 2 to 3, because you're going to be using those reloads. You're going to be inflicting knockdown, so your opponent's going to have no CP, and then eventually they're going to stop having access to doing their offensive roll turns because they're just going to have to pay 2 or get rid of it. And then you're also gaining some defensive maneuvering with evasive. So this is by far the easiest way to win with Gunslinger. Upgrade Fan the Hammer and roll Pistol Whip consistently for the rest of the game. Let's see, what else do we have? Deadeye is Revolver and Deadeye. You don't really need to upgrade. These are low priority or cells. And then most everything else falls off quickly into the mid game. So even like Take Cover, it's a really good early game upgrade. Same thing with Bounty Hunter. But Bounty Hunter, Take Cover, Deadeye, and Revolver you can sell. Showdown you can sell, but make sure you're upgrading Duel and Fan the Hammer if you find it. Let's talk game plan. All right, game plan is pretty self-explanatory. Early game, preferably your first turn, you're going to want to roll aggressively for Bounty because that's going to be a CP engine and a damage engine. If you can get Bounty on your opponent turn 1 and they can't get rid of it, you're going to have a lot more fun and you're going to gain a lot more CP, which is going to be great. After that happens, you really just are taking the easiest attack. If you roll in to Take Cover and Bounties on them, you do Take Cover. If you roll in the small straight or large straight, you take that. I wouldn't say you necessarily take Revolver unless you have to, but if you have to, don't fight the dice because you're always going to be able to spend the reload since you're getting it at your upkeep, right? And then you're going to convert CP into damage, so use your cards aggressively. CP is worthless without cards, so make sure you're using your cards aggressively. You're using your reloads every single turn. Do not store these up because they can be targeted by status effects or status effect removal. Lastly, you're going to have to accept variance, right? Some games you're going to high roll and some games you don't. So play as clean as you can regardless, but some games you're going to be really, really strong with your rolling and your high rolls, and you're getting more damage here, and you're getting more opportunity on your defense, etc. And other games, you're going to lose your defensive roll 5 out of 6 times and not get maximum value, and that's just Gunslinger. She is the gambling hero of the set. A couple of last tips I would say. Always roll Duel first before using your evasives. Always, I'm going to repeat that. Always roll for your Duel first. Always do your defense roll first before using your evasive. Second one would be save your dice mods for your evasive successes or stopping your opponent's ultimate. Don't use your dice mods to get a better roll or to do something here unless you're going to whiff, which you shouldn't because you're always going to trust the dice and take the thing that you see. So you're using your dice mods to get your opponents off of stuff and get onto the evasives. That is what your dice mods are for. Use undefendable attacks into scary defenses, right? So if your opponent does have a really, really scary defense, you may want to keep spamming Bounty Hunter because you're going to always be able to buff it up with reload. If you have Pistol Whip, that's going to be the route you want to go, or you're going to want to search for Deadeye. And then don't hoard cards. You'll lose them, right? So if you hoard cards, you're going to lose the game. Always use your cards aggressively. Obviously, don't end every turn with 0 cards in your hand, but if you have a modifier, use it. If you had this, use it, right? Matchup-wise, Gunslinger is strong against heroes that are reliant on defense because you're going to have access to undefendable. You can do knockdown. You can do a lot of ways to really slow them down and hurt them. And heroes that can't punish variance. Gunslinger is going to be weak against consistent low variance damage heroes and heavy control and hand disruption heroes. So I would say if you had to compare Gunslinger to anybody, it's similar to Moon Elf, but Gunslinger has worse damage per roll and worse control, but better CP economy and undefendable damage access. So that's where the comparison would be. My final take on the Gunslinger. Gunslinger isn't about perfection. She's about embracing chaos. If you hate luck, I would avoid playing the Gunslinger. If you love luck and it's fun and every roll is exciting, Gunslinger is going to be the hero for you. If the dice are hot, you win. If the dice are cold, you cry. All right, let's do a couple of things. Let's say I got reload just to show you how a roll phase would work. And I'm going to go for Bounty for my first roll. That's going to be my first situation. Currently, I don't see it there. Let's throw this all back. Okay, I'd probably try to fall back to Take Cover, which we either get Take Cover or Showdown. I'm going to do take cover because I get the evasive. And then I'm going to use my reload. And it's going to be 5, 6 with the damage mod. Let's do roll phase 2. We're going to keep the 6, trying to go for bounty. We get bounty hunter. So now the bounty's on them. It's going to add 1 damage to all of my attacks. And every time I attack into that opponent, I'm going to gain a CP. And I would have had a reload at the start of my turn. So this is where it gets fun, right? So bounty is 1 undefendable, +2 or +1 because of the bounty, and I'm going to gain a CP because of the bounty. So it's currently 2 undefendable, and I gain a CP, and then I'm going to use reload and hit for another one. So it's 3 undefendable. All right, and then let's say this is my third turn. I would gain the reload, and this is where we're not going to be greedy. We have the reload, we have the bounty, we have some evasive to get around it. We roll into a small straight to start. Let's do one more roll. We end up getting the large straight, which is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and lock that in. We're going to gain 2 more evasives, and now it's going to be 8 damage +1, 9 damage, and I gain a CP because they're bountied, and then I'm going to throw my reload. Bam! So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage right there, and we are set up to play some defense moving forward. So you can see how your rolls and your variants can really dictate how much damage and how much fun you're going to be having. And that is the Gunslinger. Do not be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.